What's up, everybody? My name is Joab. Today, I'm hanging out with Natalie, Hillary, and Francis, and this is
The Couch Connect.
Well, we're doing something a little bit different, to close off the year and just to bounce off ideas from each other, hear how everybody's year has been. So, Natalie, how you doing today?
I'm so good. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
It is so cold in your city, man. This is Natalie's city, so we are visiting the city of Ottawa for the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, it's incredibly cold. We were supposed to go out today, but I think we'll mostly stay indoors. So we're just hanging.
What's up, Hillary?
Hello.
You probably want to move your mic closer. You don't want to be leaning over,
Hi, guys.
Hi, nice to see you, Hillary. I like your hair. I like your, the thing on your hair. What do you call that? The thing that goes around your ears. Is it supposed to keep you warm?
Both. So it's supposed to be like, just like an accessory, but also like keep your ears warm and head.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So, Francis, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Why do you have a beanie on?
It's cold. Definitely.
What? So you don't like the cold?
Man, it's my first winter, so I'm not really having a good time, but I'm adjusting.
How did you feel the first time you saw snow?
It was underwhelming because, having seen snow on TV, and I think the film guys and the production guys make snow such a big deal. Like I couldn't get it how we are driving and snow is falling, because initially I thought like the snow falls and sticks on the windshield and all that, but we're driving and it's snowing, so yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I saw snow, I think it was underwhelming for me too. Like, the reason why it was underwhelming for me because it was very thin. So I think we probably had like 1 centimeter of snow that day, and it was very thin. And then it happened that the next day I go to downtown Toronto and I have gloves on, so I got to get out my phone to find directions to where I'm going. So the next day there's a lot of snow, but the first time I saw snow like the day, so the day before, so let's say it was like a Wednesday. So the Wednesday there's 1 centimeter of snow. I was like, man, this snow is so boring, Then the next day there's so much snow, but like, it's not so cold, so it's gonna be fine. I got on the subway, I get to downtown Toronto, and then I get out my phone to look for directions for where I'm going, and then I try to put in the GPS, and then my finger can't type on the phone. For some reason, I think it was so cold for my phone to sense my finger, and so because it was so cold now, I put it back in my pocket. I think I put on a glove and then got the other hand out and tried tapping the thing, in the phone as well. And then my other hand also became so cold, so both my hands were frozen. I was stuck outside for a minute. It was a horrible, introduction to winter. Yeah, but now I think I kind of like, over the past couple of winters now, I've gotten into winter activities. Like I like going skiing and stuff like that, and that inspires me to love the winter. And maybe Francis is gonna get into skiing too at some point. Maybe love the winter that way. Francis, 2024 was a very good year for a couple of people. I think, and for a couple of people, I don't think it was very good. So I know that 2024 was a good year for Elon Musk because he was declared the richest person on earth. Man, what do you do with $300 billion?
Billion?
300 billion with a B.
I guess not feed the homeless. Does he feed people? Like, how does that work when you have that much money?
Yeah, billionaires are...
Like, poverty shouldn't be a thing if billionaires are there.
I
to be fair, I understand, business is business, so, and things like those we overlook, but...
Yeah, I'm definitely for eat the rich.
Eat the rich? What does eat the rich mean?
It's basically like what she was saying. I personally don't think billionaires should exist. I don't think they can exist ethically. Mm-hmm. And also, like poverty shouldn't exist if people have that much wealth. Like you can't run out of that amount of money.
Do you consider yourself poor?
Are you up against Elon?
I'm against billionaires, like existing.
No, I'm only... I'm only asking if you're poor because it is possible that, you're only saying this because
Jealousy. No, like there's people who are like wealthy and it's ethical. Like if you have like companies or something, you pay your workers enough to,
Livable wages,
yeah, livable wages, and you're also earning enough and you're still rich. But for billionaires, yeah, it's unethical.
And do you think, I mean, I look at Elon and I think he's living his life. He's a different kind of a rich guy, I mean, this is a rich guy who is out there, meeting the president, very vocal about his issues. I remember there's a time he was up against the United Nations and he was telling them, hey, like this is how much it takes to, end poverty in the world, but you spend more money in doing operations than the money it would need to end poverty in the world.
Oh, that's good.
And I think with him being the richest guy on the planet, he might be actually eyeing the seat.
To become American president?
I think so.
I don't think he can become American president because he wasn't born in the US.
Okay.
Yeah, but he could become, I don't know, South African president because he was born in South Africa. I don't know how that...
You fell for that. I don't think that man knows South Africa like that.
I think if South Africa had systems like there are in the US, he would probably win.
Oh, I see.
I think because maybe the systems in South Africa would probably not favor his winning, then maybe that would not be very successful. He would not run successfully in South Africa. But that's just me thinking. Because I'm thinking that it's possible to, in some movies, the way they implant espionage in little kids and then they are groomed to grow to become, like to overthrow the country or something like that. So if that is possible, then I don't know, a country can basically bring a kid and, maybe they join their country's intelligence organs, maybe when they're like teenagers or something, in the late teens. Because I think Elon moved to the US, went for college or something like that. So if they come to the US for college and then go through the system and then become US citizens or this country's citizens, then they can become presidents. I mean, and then they can lead to the overthrow of the country. I think that would be, what they say, when they say deep state, I think that is like proper deep state. Like people who will infiltrate the systems. Tell me your greatest fear being in a podcast.
Just like run my mouth, say something that, I don't know, I would, like a hot take that's not really, that's controversial, or just like yap and say something that makes you sound out of touch. Then that's like, that could be someone's first impression of you and they're like, oh, this one, she's
That's so true.
daft.
I feel the same way too.
Yeah, and I think also the internet doesn't forget. So do you guys think privacy is power?
I don't know, because there's
Like
a lot
how much of stuff are you willing to put out there?
I don't think it's power in this generation. I don't know. Hot take. I think because we see content creators making insane amounts of money, privacy is actually like you're losing more from like concealing yourself and like hiding yourself. Then again, that's me. I usually do the same. Like I don't like, posting a lot of things outside because I'm scared that I would be like in the future, maybe I might have like, I don't know, a different opinion towards something, or like my perceptions towards certain things that I say outwardly I might have like a different take on it, like a completely like, 180 take on it. But yeah, I think for this generation, privacy doesn't, like you being private about anything doesn't really benefit you in any way. Like, there's people like the OnlyFans who, privacy wise, it's, I don't know.
They make money by, letting people into their private life, you'd say?
Yeah.
Like folks on OnlyFans.
Yeah, like it's the most private thing a human can. I don't know.
But what if you're making money out of?
Exactly.
Your
So
privacy.
you don't benefit from like hiding things, or even like when you think about like controversial things that you want the world to do better. Like if you sometimes there's many people that I see online who once they like talk about it, it brings an uproar of like other people who also agree with it, and then they actually make change from just like talking about like things that they don't agree on.
Do you think everybody has a figure, an amount of money, a dollar amount that could put them on on OnlyFans?
I don't think so. I don't know. Morally speaking, for now, maybe I might have a different perspective in the future, but like generally for now, I'm like, I don't think there's money out there that can be paid. Like, I don't know. The first thought is like my dad, you know, like, or okay, even my dad aside, my children, my comrades, because apparently people who are on OnlyFans, like the creators, most of the people who like pay good money to like see their content are people that they know. So you might be going to the
Oh.
office.
Okay.
No, it can be as close as like even a relative.
Damn.
So you're there, you know, at Thanksgiving dinner, and like, you know, some person had already seen you in the morning in a different light through their phone, and you know, in the afternoon you're just conversing, and already they have like thoughts of, you know, like just discussing.
So let me ask you, if you are walking down the street and your clothes fall off, what is the first thing you cover?
Like everything. When would that happen?
Let's just imagine, you know, habitually you're walking down the street and then your clothes fall off.
That's so
My
random.
pants, like I would cover my bottom first, because I think as far as like the upper part, like as Africans, it's normal. You see the Maasais without you know, they don't cover their upper, you know.
Yeah, breast. Yeah, I think I'd also do the same.
Okay.
while
I'll cover my
running.
face.
I think so too.
No face, no case.
If everybody has this other things, right? But nobody has your face. In my opinion, nobody has my face. So I'll just cover my face and
But it's an accident. Even if someone sees my face.
Have you seen like even high profile guys when they are leaving the hotels? The security is always covering their face.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think that's valid though.
you know, coming from that perspective,
You know, I was actually thinking about how and when like we started sexualizing bodies, because they're literally body parts just together. Like they all work for different purposes. And I'm like our naked body is something to be ashamed of, and we all have it. They're body parts. They're literally body parts. I'm like, who started that? Like, and why is it a thing?
well,
Right? And then even glamorizing as women, like whenever, you know, men talk about like, you know, boobs and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't see the appeal. Like,
Yeah. And
I mean,
like,
because you're a lady.
and that
That's
was
the
my
thing.
argument. I was like, maybe it's because I'm a lady, I don't see it from that perspective. But since when was like, you know, like you're using it to go to the washroom, all of a sudden it's an asset. Like I don't
yeah.
like, oh, it's so pretty. How?
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask Mariah or Jennifer Lopez, because this, I think, maybe where the world is headed to, we have come a long way. I mean, we have come a long way where everything and anything is possible right now.
Right.
There are people who are insuring your voice. You can insure your lips, your nose, your hands. Hands model are insuring their hands, right? Feet models are insuring their feet. So I think it gets crazier and crazier by the day. So we're expecting crazier stuff.
You know, people benefit from us thinking exactly that, especially it's with capitalism and the patriarchy. As men actually are at the top of the chain. They do benefit from like women thinking, oh my god, my hair shouldn't be on my body, like it's ugly, so you need to buy a shaver, you need to buy shaving cream. Or
but there are women who own all these shaving cream companies and shaver companies as well.
yes, but like at the very start where like hair became a thing, like being hairless became like part of like beauty, it was started by men. Like it's seen as more masculine. So it's like be. I actually started with women of color because us were more, I guess, hairier than like white women. So it was like, you people, you look masculine. So try to feminize yourself because already you're not attractive like that. So we get into like, my hair started to grow. Like one hair I need to shave every month or something. You need to go for waxing or shaving or laser, something like that. So the more insecure you are, the more beneficial it is for beauty companies.
Okay.
That's true.
So then can we all agree that it can get to a point whereby you could be okay, walking down the street naked and that should be fine?
How?
Because at the end of the day, we just have body
Yes.
parts together. I mean, going from what Hillary said, we have body parts together, and
Yes.
they're here to do.
Yes, and I agree. And that's what actually like feminists, that's the point of like us saying like free the nipples or something. It's not that
Hey, what do you say?
it's not that
Hear her
we are
out, hear
saying
her
like the point is these are body parts. Stop sexualizing them. Like think of them as exactly what they are. They are nipples to feed children. Like they're carrying mammary glands. They shouldn't be sexualized to the point where someone is thinking, oh, I can see her cleavage. She's asking for it, so I should trigger warning, sexually assault her. So the thought behind okay, I'm gonna go to hypermodesty. I think hypermodesty is
Hey, these words you're throwing around here.
Hypermodesty.
Hypermodesty. What is that?
Hypermodesty.
Like,
Is modesty then
cover
height?
yourself up kabisa because your body itself is a sexual quote unquote object. So make sure you're covering yourself up enough. So it means the less covered you are, you're asking for something, like you're suggesting something to someone, and that's in the
And is that geographical? How do I put it? Do you think that's maybe depending on what part of the world you are in?
Actually, going back to what you're saying about like African countries, a long time ago, like how we used to dress, the ladies used to be like topless and maybe they have like a skirt or something, and then the men also topless and they have like something like a string and like covers like the penis. But then with European influence and modern fashion, like they came and they started saying like, this is how you are, you're almost naked and you should be covering up because you shouldn't be looking like that, so cover up. So they brought this clothes and cover up. Mm-hmm. So with that we had that influence of the more revealing your clothes are, the more sexual you look. So yeah,
I can imagine my great grandmother walking down the street when she was like a teenager or something. So she's just there walking down the street.
Yeah, and actually we didn't have as many, like sexual assaulters used to be, it was a very rare occurrence that you'd find someone is like abusing a lady because she's dressed suggestively, because that thought wasn't there that, oh, you're calling me. Yeah. But now with hypermodesty, like dress because your body is sexual, it's in the pipeline of rape culture. Like a rapist would think, oh yeah, she's dressed this way, she's definitely asking for it.
Hey, the things you're saying here, Natalie, man.
Feminist.
So speaking about Africa and home, I think the beauty is like we are all Kenyans. Mm-hmm. It's been a crazy 2024 for Kenya. I think personally, I feel like we have had the extremes, the good, very, very good. We have had the very, very, very low moments back at home, especially both politically and I think recently there was this femicide issue that is I think is still there. I wouldn't say it's not. It's something has been done about it. So maybe Hillary, I don't know. Have you been following what is happening back at home?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's so disheartening, and I wonder if I think it's because I don't know, maybe the idea that women can succeed is something that, well, actually, so for the longest time in Kenya, at least from when I was there and like what I hear, most men who were capable of like, I guess, dating were the men who had the money. Like if you had money, it was easier for you to like date. It was easier for you to be in a relationship, because most women, because of unemployment, because of the high unemployment, back at home, they would depend on the men for their overall sustenance. And so now, as we're growing and, women are being educated, women are also getting employed, and in turn, they don't heavily depend on the men. And now the power that the men held before is no longer there. And I think that's where the hatred and animosity is coming from. Like, these women who are getting killed are like going under, like, what is it called? Like they're not, their cases are not being defended or getting taken seriously or getting justice out of things, because of how like the system has been made to protect the men. It's so easy for men to kill women and for it to go like under the water, or what is it?
Yeah. And also I think there's a lot of dehumanization. Like a lot of men actually do not see women, like as she was saying, as equals or like as another human being. And it's where men are above women, according to that line of thinking. Men are above women, and it's so disrespectful. How dare you like live without being at the mercy of a man? Yeah, without being at the mercy of a man. Right. And it's happened, like, it's not just young like women who are being killed. It's older women who were, trigger warning, sexually assaulted by multiple men, and then they kill them, or even babies. So it's just, and the cases are not being taken seriously. Like, for example, the president had to be begged by women to declare it a national crisis, that it's actually happening, recognize it as a problem in Kenya. Men are killing women. And even after that, he set aside apparently some money so that issue could be dealt with. But at the women like planned a femicide march, anti-femicide march, and the police who are meant to protect these women are the ones who came with guns, tear gas throwing at them while they're saying, stop killing us. So the actual, like, it was just proven, like, you're using violence instead of listening to us who are saying, we just want to exist. You're coming to use violence at someone who's saying, stop killing us. Yeah.
I also actually saw a female police officer assaulting one of those female, protesters. And I don't know what I felt about that. But I also wanted to ask, do you guys think that, so maybe people are not trained properly growing up, and maybe there's a lot of mental health challenges going around, and maybe these mental challenges and lack of proper training or mentorship as men are growing up leads them having feelings of insecurity. And so the lack of training, insecurity, or lack of mentorship, insecurity, and mental health challenges lead to.
Are you asking about the police training, or?
No, I'm talking about all the femicide that's going on.
Like the men who are causing the deaths of these women?
Do you think it's just a normal man waking up in the morning and saying, you know what, today I feel like going to attack women, and then they go and attack them? Or it is a man who is, has other underlying challenges. They probably have some mental challenges going on.
I think it draws back to misogyny and, again, dehumanization, because if I don't see you as an equal, and you have the audacity to exist without being at the mercy of a man, I feel entitled enough to physically harm you and know nothing much is going to happen to you. Like, I have that much audacity because, first of all, I'm empowered by the community. No one is going to listen to no one is going to really pay attention when we say that, oh, she was wearing a miniskirt or something, because I'm as someone who would want to harm a lady, you're empowered by that thought that the community is they're not gonna ban you, they're not gonna beat you up, and you're also motivated by those she's dressed suggestively, or how dare you say to no to me as a man, like, what are you doing? It's impossible to see someone as an equal if you're going to think of them like that or beat them up. So it's not really about you shouldn't be trained to be a decent human being, to treat someone as a decent human being.
Yeah, but if you've grown up in a place where there is abuse, you've grown up being abused yourself, maybe by your teachers, by everybody. It is possible that you haven't had that proper training to know how to act, because there's people who just don't know how to respect other people. Not only women but men. I mean, I'm not trying to belittle what you're saying, but I'm also saying that maybe there is other issues than just the fact that I dislike I feel insecure around successful women.
But that's not on women to teach men how to.
No, I'm not saying that it's women to teach men. I'm just saying maybe society, maybe the parents didn't teach this man, or.
I think both ideas can exist together, because when you look at your environment is what influences your way of thinking, and so if the child has been grown in this environment where it's normal, like the abuse is there, but it's normalized, like it's, and it's justified too. Like, it's okay that somebody is hitting you. They obviously mean well. And because that has been already perpetuated, like from the top, like with, with teachers and, higher authorities, then it trickles down to the children, and then those children are the ones who become like the police officers. Mm-hmm. And I agree too, like, with misogyny, I think it stems from like a lot of men have this idea that like women like have to like, I don't know, bow down to them. And I think it stems from like, in the past, like how like women didn't have a say towards anything, and still now it's almost like we don't have a say towards anything. And that shift is going to take time before like Kenya can do that.
But I also don't think that it's only happening in Kenya only. I think it's happening across the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
You believe so? I feel like it's more prominent because here, like, it's so normalized for a woman to like make good money, and it's not frowned upon when, a woman can, speak out for themselves.
Yeah, but only the women in Kenya, I don't think they're only being attacked because they are successful. It could be,
It has also the underlying factors of insecurity. Like you might be just existing, you might just be like a stay-at-home mom, but because of the insecurity that the man holds, or like, oh yeah, this woman has, their own like idea of like what the woman is, they can retaliate on the lady. And I think what I was saying was like, them being rich can be a factor, but also like these other things too, like underneath.
True. I agree.
Yeah, because also in like the rural areas, there's a story. I don't remember exactly where. I don't remember exactly where it was, but there's somewhere they were finding like women's bodies being dumped in the forest. It's not. Why would if a man, like, they're angry or something, and they don't know how to. Maybe they don't even deal with anger as an emotion. And they would take it out on someone. Why would they wouldn't take it out on a fellow man? Like, our fellow man is just walking and they're like, I should kill this. Yeah, a woman is she'd maybe like smaller, and you're stronger, and also again, you don't see this person as a human enough to let them literally live their life. So it makes sense for them to physically attack that woman, mutilate her, and dump that body somewhere, and then it's just it's on the news as another woman, adding on to the numbers that are already there, another woman was dumped in the forest. And
I agree. And also justice too. They know, like, if they do this thing, the likelihood for justice to be found for her is pretty slim. Like, compared to a man, like, let's say this man is always expected to be at a certain place at a certain time, or maybe he's the provider, or maybe is the protector of his children, or just something like because a man plays a huge, like, a woman can also play a part in, like, society, but because they know that, like, it's highly likely that people will try and figure out, like, why this person died, they'd rather go to somebody who the likelihood of people trying to find justice for the person is low. Yeah, they'd rather just go to somebody who, like, they know, okay, yeah, even if they go to the police, or even if somebody goes to the police to report, like, a lady being killed, the chances of her being, like, her death being investigated is pretty low.
Yeah, and, like, moving on to now what women are saying way forward, these, like, men who kill these women, they're not just mystical creatures who exist on, like, some planet somewhere.
It's people who are known.
Yes, they are around us. They are actually very close to us. And something that I do, because you were cousins, right? But to another woman, you're a man. Like, she would be scared of you because you're a man. So me, I check people around me.
What is checking?
Like, if you wouldn't say anything slightly, even misogynistic around me, I would check you, like.
So what is checking? Like, speaking up against what they say, or how they act, or something like that?
Yeah. And because you were saying now those people, they have community where they're empowered by, like, no one would do anything to me, or I'm safe around these type of people. No, you're not safe around me. They shouldn't be safe around you. So, and also
so what you're saying is, people should speak up, whenever someone is, acting misogynistic against them.
Yeah, okay. Something the slightest, investigate what's the
why are they saying this?
Yeah, what's your thinking process. And then also like we were saying, a lot of there's a number of men who don't respect women even enough to listen to what they have to say, so they would likely listen to a man. Like, if I was saying something in a room full of men, they would some of them would just be thinking, wow, this girl, she's so beautiful. Like, their thoughts are just running. They're not listening to what I'm saying. But if you walk in and say exactly the same thing, or about, like, what I was saying, exactly the same words, they would most probably listen to what you have to say than I have to say. So it's.
But what is the problem in me admiring a woman, a beautiful woman, when they're speaking?
No, that's not the point. Like I'm saying,
it shifts the focus of what she's saying. Like,
they're not actually
listening.
Yeah, they're not listening to understand what I'm saying. But they would likely do it. So it's important for men in your circles to actually talk to other men
about this stuff.
Yes, okay. They would likely listen to other men and know, okay, yeah, I can't say this type of things around Joab. He's gonna check me.
So I should be the Natalie who is checking men who are misogynistic.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And Francis as well. Like, no one should ever feel safe. Yeah, call them out. No one should ever feel safe.
Can you tell me an example of a misogynistic statement? A random example that people would say without thinking.
Women, she's wearing like I said, a short skirt or something, that she was dressing suggestively to who? Like, what does that even mean?
Okay, but is there a definition, like dressing suggestively? Can we define that?
She was wearing like a miniskirt or like a tiny top or something. If someone maybe was SA'd, like sexually assaulted, then someone says, oh yeah, she was dressing suggestively.
Okay,
it has a bad connotation. So the word suggestive, has always been, not always, but like for the most part, like even in social media, and also like when you hear in court cases, they use that as an argument to prove that like the lady is promiscuous. So whenever they say, oh, this person was dressing suggestively, they would infer that the woman was either provocative or like the woman wanted it. That's what they say. Like because of how the woman dressed up, like I guess as revealing, they would say, okay, yeah, because the person has dressed revealing, then they're suggesting that it's okay. It's okay for a man to make advancements on them, as if it's like, strip club.
Yeah, like she called the violence upon herself, as opposed to this person was violent against this.
Okay, so what you're saying here, a misogynistic would be like, something like, that girl dresses suggestively, so that is misogynistic.
Yes, like what do you mean suggestively to who? Like,
yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like now,
okay.
like developing on it, suggestively to who, and where's that even coming from? Like she's just dressed.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if? So there's two ladies. One of them dresses hyper modestly, and another one dresses hyper modestly. I'm gonna use that so that nobody calls me out. So, so I should say that the person who's dressed hyper modestly is beautifully dressed, and then say the person who is dressed hyper modestly is beautifully dressed. So I can compare beauty, I can compare, nice dressing, or stuff like that.
You can do neither. Like you don't have to compare. You can just let people exist in their own way. Like if I come and see you, like, like let's say you prefer like, I don't know, like you prefer wearing like a black shirt, but I only like orange shirts. I can come to you or even in my thought, you shouldn't even have the thought, oh, I don't like that. I mean, people like humans are.
So, where I'm going with my thought process is, I mean, it normally takes me literally in the moment I wake up, in 5 minutes I'm ready to go. I wake up, in 5 minutes I'm ready to go. But I know that my partner would take a couple of moments before she's ready to go. If, for example, she didn't have in mind what she was going to wear, she's probably going to compare 2, 3, 4 dresses before she's ready to go. And I would imagine the same thing for you guys, right? Then why do you have to decide, how am I going to look in this? How am I going to look in this? So what do we call
we're
that?
not allowed to, or what do you mean? Okay, maybe I shouldn't say allowed.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say here is, you saying that people should be allowed to exist and be, I could counter that by saying, but you guys try out dresses because you want to look good in your dress.
Yeah, but not for the intent to, like.
Then why do you try out the dresses? Shouldn't you just put up any dress and be and go?
Nice, like we have free will to.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Then don't we have the free will then to compliment someone's dress and say, you know what, that dress looks really nice on you, or also, you know what, that dress, I think it doesn't look very nice on you.
I mean, ultimately, no one is going to hold you against your neck, telling you, "Oh, why are you saying this or that?" But I think like maybe what she's trying to say is we have to take an extra step in thinking, or like how we present our thoughts to other people, like when it comes to like, I guess, dressing.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's the point of telling someone, I don't like that dress on you? Like, okay, when you compliment someone,
I'm not saying that I don't like the dress on you. I think it doesn't look good on you.
What is that? What's the point of that? They didn't ask for your opinion.
Exactly. Then why do you spend moments testing out dresses in your closet before you walk out into the world?
I wanna look nice. I wanna feel good. I like the dress. I'm dressing according to the weather. I'm dressing according to the event, and I wanna.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I wanna look
but
nice.
I think now that's what they are against. They they prefer, just kept to oneself. Because I think with the ladies, it's different. They dress for themselves. They wake up, and most of the time, rarely would they do it for somebody. I think for us guys, we are just on the move. We don't really put effort unless it matters. Say you are going for a work meeting, so you'd want to know. That's when you check yourself. But on a daily, I think guys are more chill. Ladies always want to show up when if they're going for groceries. Yeah. But I think generally on this whole femicide issue, I would say our president is not doing a great job at this whole thing. I would take it up from it is his duty to make sure that every citizen is safe, is alive. That is his duty. Every day he wakes up, he has to make sure that his citizens are safe and alive, regardless of whether they are male or female. Now, are there males dying? Yes. Are there females dying? Yes. Females are more vocal about it. I also think there are people not doing their job. Just the other day, I was thinking, if I was president today and I gave Job a job to do, I've given Job a job because he's my friend. So people are complaining about Job. I call Job. Job, why are people complaining? Job is like, those are just internal politics. People are just complaining here and all that. I'm bound to believe Job. Right? So
Because Job is your friend.
yes. So I also feel like the people the president has given the job to do are also disservicing him and us as a country. Because
They're enabling.
when you think about policing is making sure that there's a safe environment for people to report issues. When these issues are reported, they are investigated and cases are closed. Whether someone was convicted or not, we should know that for sure this case was reported, this investigation was done, these were the findings, they went to court, and this is how the file was closed. But we have so many problems.
Yeah, building on that actually with the police and violence, how the police forces, when they were started, especially back home in Kenya, they were meant to be violent, especially against the Kenyan citizens. They were employed by the Europeans, the colonizers. They were using force against, now those people, they were being given special treatment, come, we'll give you uniforms and as long as you protect us and make sure you get these people in line. So at the very start, like the police forces were actually, like they are built on violence, trained with violence against the citizens. So within the police force, there's generally a problem. Like they're not, with the training that they were given over the years, it's not that the citizen is my priority. The citizen's safety is my priority. Mine is just to get these people in order. However that's going to happen, I could be violent with them. My job is just to get order. I don't really care how that's going to happen. So there is a problem, because even with the citizens are protesting to help also the policemen and saying, you people are not being paid enough for the work that you do. But they don't see the citizens as, you're protesting, you're speaking up for me. Mine is just to, you people are chaotic. You're spoiling the government's name. You're spoiling the president's name. However that's going to happen, I just need to get law and order.
We're recording. I mean, if you want, you can walk around. You can have a seat over here. You can pull a seat and and sit. Are you guys okay? You need some water? Yeah, we're almost done. Anyways. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to something that Francis said earlier on, or as we discussing this, privacy. So Francis said that privacy can be power. So, Francis, how do you think privacy can be power? Or, well, you didn't say that privacy can be power. I think you were asking.
I said privacy. For me, I think privacy is power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are certain things I would not want to show the world on my socials or talk about them in public. And I feel like there are certain things that only the people who know should know.
Like what?
So, for example, I always say that I would not post my relationship online with my partner.
But I wanted to say also yes and no. I think for me that's the same.
To what?
Is privacy power,
Okay.
especially with social media. I'm also someone who I don't really feel comfortable posting my partner or my family, like my immediate family. So that's just something I've always.
Yeah, I think it's because, I mean, your immediate family doesn't want to be online. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
they
also-
haven't asked for
yeah.
that kind of scrutiny into their
Yeah,
privacy.
there's
right?
that, and also just I think that's just part of my life that I want to keep to myself, and then something that I'm comfortable showing, I'm gonna show. So yes, in that way that I'm able to keep my family safe from online critique and whatever. And then also no, because especially coming from a content creator's point of view, the more I give my audience, the more they feel like, oh, I know this guy, like they'd want to move along with you with every step of the way. Like, for example,
the more they feel like they're
Yeah.
entitled to have a say on like.
Your privacy on your life.
yeah, like
Okay.
they feel like they've seen me grow through the years, and it's almost like I know this person, but like you don't know them like that. It's just that there's this parasocial relationships. I think that's
Hey,
how the
you and your psychological words.
You let's say me as a vlogger, maybe for example, if I've been vlogging over the years, like 10 years, you've seen very different aspects of my life, my school life, maybe my love life, my family life, and it's like I know so much about this girl. It's almost like we're like now best friends. So there's that. When you do that, you're very likely to have a very strong community, like almost like a cult-like community.
I was like following.
Yeah, that's like I would stand 10 toes for this girl because I feel like I know her, I've seen her grow. But yeah, it's also like on the other side of that, it could be detrimental to you because they have a lot of information about you, and one mistake like this, it just switches, and now
Everybody hates you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think being a tech expert, when I think of social media, I think about social media as a tool. So in my world, we use social media to really define the customer, the journey, the customer journey experience. We want to see, okay, what are you thinking? What are you buying? So sometimes I feel like most people do not understand that the online space is a public space. As much as Meta and other companies would want to address the whole privacy issue, online is a public space. So when you're having a good time and it's online, you're happy. But trust me, when you're having a bad time, you are not going to shut out the online space. They also want to be there with you during your bad time. And sometimes you find the bad times are really bad, that you want to be alone. But the online space is like, hey, We were with you during the good times. We also want to know how the bad times are, you know? And for me, I feel like, humanly speaking, now the human nature, sometimes things just don't go the way you want. And that's when, it gets crazy. I would not post where I stay. Yeah, because when I'm going home, I actually want to go rest. I don't want people following me, especially, even for our ladies, it's tougher because if someone knows where you stay, people start stalking you, they start following you around. You don't know, but someone has been parked on your driveway, every day. Of course, you would not notice because, I mean, you're like, oh, this BMW is always here. Maybe it's the neighbors, but probably this is someone, stalking you because, you showed us where you stay. So I feel like that's why I say privacy is power, because sometimes we need to actually ascertain what we are posting. Are we comfortable with this? What kind of information are we giving out there? If tomorrow things changed, what kind of information will be used against you, I'm a huge fan of not posting kids, like zero, because I feel like kids need their own space and they need to choose when to come online.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's mothers would say it's love, but I also feel like you have to see the bigger picture. I know of a guy whose kid's face was used in pornographic content. So this guy was out there crying and saying, help me catch these guys. But in retrospect, you're like, okay, just, you should not have put, because this guy's got the face of your profile.
What I'm thinking about is all these memes. Have you ever seen this meme of this guy, saying like something like, "Oh my god," like they're saying "Oh my god," but like there's no sound, there's no voice, something like that, or something like somebody said this, this weird memes that you'd see online that they'll pull either from a social media clip or maybe not even a social media clip, from a movie clip or something like that. That's what I'm afraid of. Even with the fact that we can age how we look with AI. I also feel like, if my kid is probably not ready to go online, it is possible that there would be a software either right now or in the future that can age what they look like in the future. And so my kid, probably I posted a photo of him, long ago, and then somehow they are 50 years old and they find a photo of them online. Looks like them, but they've never posted a photo of themselves. It's what I did when they were a baby, like 50 years ago, and for me, I think that's what I'm afraid of. I used to take kids' photos every now and then, and I remember there's these two families that I posted photos of the kids on my Instagram. I took it down after about a year, and I took it down because I realized that I actually made a mistake by posting their photo. Maybe they didn't have a problem with it, but I think it was wrong for me to post that photo because I, first of all, didn't have an explicit permission from them, but also because it is possible for those photos to be used for all these other things, like I said, and that kind of makes me scared. And even going back to what Fran said about privacy and privacy being power, I kind of feel like it is possible to be private right now, but I also think that our lives are not that private, because we have a couple of, every time you are trying to buy something, you're trying to buy an airline ticket, you're trying to, I don't know, shop from Amazon or, some online store for shoes or makeup or something like that. You create a profile and you leave a bit and piece of information there. And so if I'm able to consolidate pieces of your data from very many websites, I am able to create a profile of who you are. And I can use that, to do something, either to you or to your
and that's why I say, you see, those are tools, and for someone who is going through that extent, there's so many laws you're breaking. But you see, what we are trying to say is, let's just be self-aware and do as much as possible from our end, because they're the obvious stuff. You're on holiday, so everybody knows you're on holiday. So if you're a target, people will be like, oh, they're there, you know. I don't know. I've seen couples who post like their lives, but you know that's a job, right? There are people who have decided our work is creating content. That's their work. So they are going to show you everything, because if they don't show you that, they can't pay their bills, right? But how many people know that those people are working? The same way you would drive up every morning to go to work is the same way they would wake up every morning and create content and say, okay, now we are going to cook today. Okay, so you'll open the fridge. And you know, this content creation, it takes time. I think, Natalie, you know, you can attest from now that you're doing the whole makeup thing. So you can imagine if one reel would take probably 2-3 days to put up together. And there are people who post daily their lives, feeding the baby, changing the baby's diaper, you know, putting things in the dishwasher, opening the fridge. You can imagine all those angles. You have to set the camera here, go, open the fridge, close, pick up the camera, set it there, walk again, you know.
Yeah, it's very
Must be a
curated
hectic-
content.
Yeah, it's a whole
Maybe you should come up with like a 360 camera that you just put on, I don't know,
You know,
put it somewhere.
Yeah, you know, there's actually one I'm working towards getting it. But what I wanted to say about building up on your point on couples who are content creators, and especially ones who have children, there's some who exploit their children for that, for content. I remember there's this lady who she I don't know, she forgot to edit that part out, but she was telling her child, like, she wanted a thumbnail for their YouTube. She's telling her, cry, and she's like she's making a face, and then the baby the baby is tired, like the child is tired, but she's like, no, make your face like this. Okay, we're almost done, and she continuously did it, but then she forgot to, I don't know how, but she forgot to post that specific part out. So she posted on YouTube, and people noticed and like started commenting, and she immediately deleted it, but like people had already screen recorded, and
I
said,
mean, it's
the internet
it's
never
YouTube.
forgets.
The
Yeah.
internet never forgets. You put it up, someone has downloaded it. I mean, heck, YouTube has downloaded it because they are scraping it for their AI. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, as a child, like the parent is able to give consent for, you know, the child being online, but like how, I mean, again, that's the parent, but us watching on, we're very uncomfortable like watching that type of content, because you can see this child is uncomfortable, they don't want to do this is your work. That child, just let them be a child. At what point can we say, please, the
I think
children,
the US are going to pass a law very soon. I mean, I don't think it's going to be more than 5 years, but watch it. They might pass a law that for kids to be actually online, they would want to actually, you know, take you through a lot, because as much as they might not be doing the best things in the world, there's some good things that the US government is doing good, especially to prevent these big companies that are doing data mining and a lot of other social what you call social profiling. There are some laws they have passed. I mean, Canada passed a very good law about selling our data. So now companies are obligated to explicitly and tell you that, hey, we have given company A, B, C, D your data, and this is the purpose of which they're going to use your data. So that's now why you can deny all cookies.
No, I think that it is possible to break all these laws, though. I mean, the laws are there, yes, but I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't trust all this. You know, so long as somebody is on a commercial venture and they have my data, I'll still be careful how much data I'm giving them, even if they
Yes.
have promised, you know, even if there's laws to protect all this.
Yes.
Because people are killed, and nobody finds, you know, catches the people who kill them. What about my data? I haven't died. I mean, I'm probably still alive, and you know, people have my data, and
Who've
I mean, I
stolen
don't
your
know.
data, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is, and that's the huge part. I think because of how unregulated social media consumption is and like social media use, it's insane how like, even though they say that these laws are being passed, I think it's just a small, like there's so many, like there's a plethora of like issues that come with social media consumption that still haven't been studied. Like we are not, we are just looking at, we've only had the internet, you know, a few years, like the past decade or two, and much of it has been experimental. We haven't seen like the issues that come with it long term. And even like the use of like phones and stuff like that's also unregulated. Like I think there should be the same way how like there's mental institutes for people who not mental institutes, there's like rehabilitation centers for people who have alcohol problems. There should be rehabilitation institutes for
From addiction.
people who overuse, from the addiction of using phones, because I think we don't really conceptualize how much, like how bad it is. The way we consume social media right now, we understand like, okay, yeah, there's like side effects of using our phones, and like there are YouTubers out there and even like researchers who come and tell us, oh yeah, this is not good. But there's a small minority of like older adults who are consuming these things, but they don't know the research about it. They haven't like been around people who say, oh yeah, this is not a good thing. And in turn, they can use it like for long periods of time without like actually like realizing, oh, this is like not okay, because they haven't been alerted to like, oh, this is actually bad, this is actually an issue. It's like smoking cigarettes, like smoking 3 cigarettes and no one has told you like, oh, smoking 3 cigarettes in a span of 2 hours is bad. I would say it's the same thing, like using your phone for 8 hours. If you think that it's okay, like, or like if you're not alerted to it being an issue, you won't see it as an issue until like, somebody alerts you. And I feel like a lot of like older people, they actually use their phones quite a lot because they think it's okay and it's not like an issue to them. I don't know.
True. I do agree with you.
Yeah, same. I actually also think about how, like, over generations, it's been so different, because I remember, like, growing up, having a phone for a child, maybe you're like 13 or something, at least, not 14 there, like you're just finishing class 8, moving on to high school, and that's when maybe you'd get a phone. But like it's so different for these for children these days, especially like quote unquote iPad kids, COVID babies, sorry. Like they've grown up knowing how to use these like machines,
Devices from like 2 or even 1 year. So.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's like so scary for me thinking about, okay, right now we're here, where will we be in like 10 years? And you remember, yesterday we were talking about, in primary school, we were being taught things like photosynthesis and, just things that you wouldn't necessarily use them in day to day, but you just know stuff. But like these days, it's just I don't know anything, so I'm gonna go up on the internet search. So like thinking about the generation to come, it's like I don't know like what society would look like then. Yeah,
it's very scary.
Damn, I mean, I'm also scared with, what the world is becoming. And I think maybe we just need to be more aware of what we do with our data out there, and how it's handled, and kept and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, going forward is, I'll probably try to be more aware and probably train my daughter and my family and my friends that they need to be aware with how much data they're putting out there.
So how I mean, like for you, how are you managing it with Karen? How are you preparing Karen for?
Right now, I'm just giving Karen milk to drink. I'm not giving her the phone. So I'm not managing Karen's data yet because I haven't logged her information anywhere.
So she doesn't have an Instagram account.
Not yet. She doesn't have an Instagram. And I think she can open an Instagram account whenever she feels ready, But I'll just try to guide her not to have one, especially when she is, underdeveloped. And I'm saying this because I know that there's all these dangers that come. I think Germany have introduced a law where you can't, maybe it's not Germany, but some country has introduced a law that you have to be at least 16 before you can use social media.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think much of them, like, they're young, and in turn, like, not as knowledgeable of, like, the side effects, like the bigger, like, issues. I think most of them, like, oh my God, I just remembered. There was this little girl who was on YouTube. I was going through my YouTube, they have like YouTube shorts, almost like reels, where different people post whatever. And this was like back in 2020 or maybe 2021. TikTok was surfacing. People were doing videos of them dancing. And through those dancing videos, it used to get like a lot of traction. Like there was a lot of people wanting to watch these videos from TikTok. And there was this little girl who I stumbled upon on YouTube who was doing like a TikTok type of thing. I would say she's like maybe 7 or 8. She was doing a video of her dancing. She was just twirling with her dress. I would say she looks like maybe 7, 8, or 9. And at first I was like, okay, it's just an innocent video. The girl is just dancing. And I went to her comment section and I found that it was actually, so the amount of messages that she was getting from were like very like weird, like weirdly phrased. And at first I thought it was kids because they would say, oh, you're my best friend. You look so pretty in this little skirt. And then I'm just like, little skirt? Like no little girl would go and say, oh yeah, I like your little skirt, because I don't think, it just sounded off. That was the first thing that I saw. And then I saw another, comment of another person saying, oh, you're so beautiful, heart eyes, heart eyes. And then another picture, like just like very like weirdly, I don't know, like it was just off.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like this looks weird. Let me just look into it. I came to find that actually most of the people who were posting were older men.
Yeah.
They were older men, and the thing that set me off was one of the people who was on there. I thought it was just a little kid just like messaging her, but they kept on asking her, can you send me your Snapchat? I want us to be best friends. And they kept on saying that. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And I went through her other videos, and it was the same old man saying that, oh, can you send me your Snapchat? And the girl would reply. And the little girl would reply. And it was just so sad knowing that, like, okay, first of all, the parents, I'm pretty sure, are just unknowledge. They don't know what the kid is actually doing. From surface level, you can see her, like, you can see the kid posting a video, but I think they don't see harm in her posting the video. And two, the girl also is not, because the parents are not knowledgeable, they're not transferring any knowledge to the kid. So the kid doesn't really understand that there's harm in doing things, like that. And because of that, I'm pretty sure there isn't restrictions, because assuming that she was able to post that YouTube video online, it would also mean that she has other, I would like to think that she has other social media platforms that she's using, and she can download, she has a place where she can download these social media, like, platforms. So the chances of her probably like one day thinking, oh, let me just download Snapchat is pretty high. And this is how like human trafficking, child trafficking starts.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just so disheartening. It made me so frustrated but I was just like, my heart was beating so fast because I felt like she doesn't really know the severity of like what she's doing. But I'm just like, a part of me is like, I hope she's fine. I hope she's okay, because this is how trafficking starts. And it's just so disheartening that older men can look at children and see them as sexual beings. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense at all. Have you seen the video of that guy who was prosecuted for having the most, like, his hard drive had, like, a lot of, like, child child things.
Corn.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but there's a bunch that I saw. I saw this guy in France who was convicted for having 51 men sleep with his wife.
I saw that
And then
one.
there was,
Whoa.
All of them.
and
were
then there was
found
another
guilty.
guy in the country of Equatorial Guinea. I think his name was Ibang Ingonga.
Yeah.
And he had like 400 women.
And that man who
sleeping with
was
them.
setting up his wife for rape, I think he was given only 20 years in prison.
And the hard
Only.
part is like the only reason why she found out was because, well, it's not the only reason, but she had like a lot of sexually transmitted diseases, because this man would have this rule where like the men would not use a condom. Like that was the rule. Like you're not supposed to use
Protection.
a form of protection while you're with the lady, which is just so disheartening. Imagine waking up every single day questioning your own reality, and you're in your own home, and you're with somebody who's like probably like dismissing whatever thing that you say.
Damn, it is a tough world out here.
Crazy.
Yep. There's a lot going on in this world, man.
I also saw this is a parent who used to, she has control of the account of her daughter, and she's the one who used to post. Now, when you go to, and it used to get like millions of views, and the videos with the most saves, like the ones that people save, are the ones like the child is like, she's dancing, but then maybe she's like spread her legs or something. Those have the most saves. And then for the people who are commenting, when you go to their profiles, they're only following like little children. And people were now calling her out for exploiting her child, first of all, because she's getting money from those millions of views. And not just that, she can see the type of people who are commenting and saving those videos. These are pedophiles. Like, they're deliberately looking for videos where she's doing things that they're thinking of as sexually. So that's the parent is then, she's supposed to be held responsible for creating an environment where these people are just coming to,
do whatever.
Yeah.
And it was sad too, because you would think, okay, if maybe for some reason she didn't know how the saves works, or like she didn't know the severity of like the people that are actually commenting and what they're doing, you would think that, oh, okay, maybe she's not knowledgeable. But this woman was told multiple times through social media, like, yo, like you need to take a close eye on like the people who are commenting and the people who are saving. And yet she still continued to post despite like all of the people who are reaching out to her. It's so disheartening. Like it makes me so mad how like somebody can do such like insane things. Like sorry, just to finish off, but like the guy who was caught with a lot of videos of child porn, the part that really struck me was, for the longest time we usually hear about child whatever, I'll just call it abuse, child abuse happening on children who are like 7 or 8. That's what most people think. But the saddest part was, it was like infants. How can you ever look at a sexual, like a baby as a sex, like an, I can't even, it's just like he was trafficking children, trafficking babies, and having men abuse these children, abuse infants to the point of death for some of them.
Yeah.
No.
And like,
it's just,
People should be very careful out there.
Yeah, I think people should be really, really careful. And it is.
there's a lot of like research done on like abusers, sexual abusers especially, and the thing behind it is power, like having power over someone who's could be dead, who can't defend themselves. Maybe they're sleeping, or especially like a child who they literally cannot defend themselves. That like, I'm over you, and now it's like even serial killers, like strangling you to death, they get like a rush, or like a rush from the sense of, okay, I literally have power over you, and this is what it is. Like it's like
I'm dominating.
like a 2 minutes type of thing, and it's like, then I need to do it again and again and
to
again.
get that rush.
I think bring the death penalty.
I think they should just be alone. No kids on social media. Like no faces.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get there someday, you know. Yep. Folks, be careful out there, man. There's a lot going on in this world. You know, very many people, you know, are out there to harm other people. And we do hope that this episode has been an enlightenment to you so that you can be empowered to become better, more aware of your, you know, the fact that you need to have some sort of privacy in your life, even if you are using social media or the internet, you know, to, you know, as a tool in your life. This has been the Couch Connect. I've been hanging out with Francis, Natalie, and Hillary. Until next time, do take care. My name is Joab. Adios.
Bye.